Well, now we're live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and we're live with my friends there on TikTok, and we're live with my friends there on Spreaker, although Spreaker is just strictly audio. Now, people have asked me, what about Spreaker? How can I go to Spreaker? I really don't know. That's not very good. It's not a good answer. Is I really do. That's kind of bad if you don't really know your Spreaker. I really don't. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Spreaker. For a user, hold on, user / Bishop James Long, maybe. Oh, there it is. There it is. If you guys want to listen to it on Spreaker, on all the shows, it's actually Spreaker, SPREAKER.com / user, and then / Bishop James Long. Bishop James Long, all one word. Okay. Well, thank you very much for the gifts. I certainly appreciate that. It's very, very kind of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, for those of you who are on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, howdy to you, and howdy to you guys on TikTok, and howdy to you guys on Spreaker. Let me just remind you of a couple of things before we get into the presentation. I want to remind everybody, please do yourself a favor. Yeah, no, people have said that I look a little younger, that perhaps maybe it's either Botox or I'm a vampire. I've actually been accused of being a vampire, Mr. Producer. Can you believe it? Mr. Producer, as you know, he's a vampire. But I've been accused of that. But anyway, I want to remind everybody to please do yourself a favor. I want you to go over to a website. And this website these are the folks that actually produces the show, and they allow us to go on air on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and we love them. KGRADB.com. That's the website you got to go to, folks. KGRAD, as in dog, B, as in bicycle.com. And make sure you put Bishop when you sign up, because they have all paranormal shows there. Really cool platform. I mean, it's a neat platform. But make sure you put Bishop for your promo code. Why? Because if you do, you're going to get 30% off your subscription, and it's going to save you some money. And folks, with an economy like we have right now, anything that's going to save you $1 or $2 or more, you need to take advantage of it. So make sure you put Bishop and your promo code. Again, KGRADB.com. Well, who is it? Blue Line, thank you very much. That is very, very kind of you, and I appreciate you very, very much. And I am going to, hold on one second. That's very nice of you, Blue Line. There we go. We'll cancel. There. Well, I'm not very good. I'm just not very good. Oh, good. I thought I forgot my phone. Because you normally have like a little notes. And so, okay, let me just fix this real quick here. Okay. There. All right. Sorry, just had to do a little bit of a, there, now I put my phone up there. Sometimes I get notes in here that let me know, hey, look, can you do this? Can you do that? Can you advise me why I don't fit? Well, okay, I will invite you in just a second. But first of all, let me remind you, of course, KGRADB.com. And then, of course, I invite you to go to the website, my website, BishopJamesLong.com. And there we have an online store. You can sign up for the online classes as well. And so you can do that. By the way, I am teaching Udemy classes. So for those of you who like Udemy, well, I have 3 classes up there, 3. So you can take that. You just simply go to BishopJamesLong.com and click on the Udemy link. There you go. And it takes you right to my classes that I teach online. So right now I have an angelology course up there that I just completed, or lecture, and that's there. But anyway, go to BishopJamesLong.com, and Udemy is an online platform where you can learn different topics, and so feel free. So again, or if you just want to take my classes, I have Facebook groups, private groups there, and you can sign up there. Okay, so that's it. And then, of course, the church's website is usocc.org. So if you want to know more about what church do you belong to, what do you belong to, what do you believe, well, go to usocc.org, and it's all there for you. It's right there. Everything is there for you. It's all there. You go. Okay. So that's Okay, a lot of people, I really do appreciate very, very much the compliments for the weight loss. Yes, I am pushing forward with the weight loss, and I am, but I work hard at it. So I'm just going to address a couple, because I don't want to talk the whole time for the weight loss, but I do appreciate you guys saying, "Hey, look, keep it up, keep it up." Thank you very much. It's very kind of you. I walk 5 miles every single day, even if when it's raining outside. I am walking on my treadmill. I walk. That is a very important element to me. I drink lots of water. You got to stay hydrated. You got to stay hydrated. So I drink lots and lots of water. And oh yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Producer. I forgot that. Also, if you want to go to night prayer, we have at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. Now you can go to 2 different places. Okay, you can go what's there on the Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. It's Spreaker.com/show/night prayer. Night prayer is all one word. Or if you want, just go to my website, bishopjameslong.com. Scroll down to the bottom, and you'll see where it says night prayer. Just click it, and it takes you right there. You don't even have to. It literally takes you right there. So that's at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. It's on Spreaker only, by the way. That's only on Spreaker. Okay. It's there, I promise you. Because as a matter of fact, I just clicked. Let me just go there. Let's see, make sure that the link is right. Because I am my webmaster, so I'm not really a great master at all. But let's see. There we go. I'm looking at that. I'm scrolling all the way down, and I'm clicking on the night prayer link. Yep, it's right there. And I'm clicking on the picture. Yep, right there. So it definitely takes you. I just checked both links, and it works. It's not Spreaker. It's not Spreaker. Just go to it's Spreaker. Spreaker, not Spreaker. Just simply go to just do this. Okay. Here's what I want you to do. All right, it's all right. Here's what I want you to do. Go to bishopjameslong.com. Just do that. And then scroll down to the very bottom. And then you're going to click, you're going to see the link. You're going to see the picture where it says night prayer. It's a great big picture. Just click on it. It takes you right there. Okay. So just all you got to do is just go to my website. Go to my website. It's there. The links work. Okay. Oh, you want to talk about my ring? Okay, sure. This ring actually costs $95 on eBay. So before you judge somebody, perhaps maybe you need to get the speck out of your eye and not judge. It was $95. Yeah. Yeah, and I appreciate you acknowledging that it's a nice ring. It is a nice ring. It's a bishop's ring, and it costs $95. So, see, before you judge, that's what a lot of people do. They want to judge and throw these nasty things, but you shouldn't. You really, really should learn your manners. And that's something that I think a lot of people don't have these days. So before you judge somebody, as Christ said, maybe you should walk a mile in their shoes. And then, and only then, do you have an opinion. But until that, perhaps maybe you should keep your mouth shut. If you can't, my mom always said, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. So it's kind of, it's pretty simple. Yeah, $95. That's all it was. Yep. So it is a pretty ring. It's a very beautiful. It's one of my favorite rings. It's beautiful, beautiful. I have a couple of these. But I absolutely love it. But it's $95. So I tell them, by the way, I spend my own money helping and feeding the poor. How much money do you spend of yours to help the poor? I'm sorry, what? I can't hear you. How often do you go to homeless camps and passing out food, clothes, sleeping bags, and tents? How often do you do that? Oh, you don't? Oh. Period. Okay, so yeah, they're starting early tonight. Woo, Lord Jesus. Woo, boy. Yeah, it's amethyst. And amethyst is the color of the episcopacy. So yeah. Yeah, it's amazing how a lot of people like to judge and like to throw stones, but then they don't know the whole story. And then when they know the whole story, then they have pie in their face. But it doesn't matter, because no matter what I say to those type of people, they're always going to come back and say something else. Always, always. Well, I don't like your hair. Your hair is satanic. Oh, well, I guess it is. I'm kind of losing my hair, so I guess Maybe it's a little satanic because I'm losing my hair. I don't like your goatee because you shouldn't have a goatee. The clergy shouldn't have it. Oh, okay. Anyway, but, what are you gonna do? Okay, everybody. We're having we're having I'm looking like Anton LaVey. Well, goodness gracious, I didn't know I looked like Anton. So someone says I look like Anton LaVey. He's the founder of the Church of Satan. Until on his deathbed, he realized, oh hell, oh boy, yeah. Oh, you see, he called on the devil a bit too much, didn't he? And then on the deathbed, he heard the devil's flap of its wings coming for him, and then he realized, oh, I made a mistake. Well, you sure did, sunshine. You sure did. Well, I appreciate that. Okay, Wilma. Yeah. Miss Wilma is doing well. Thank you very much. I get BlueLine.1108. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That is very, very kind of you. Thank you. Thank you for all those of you who are offering gifts to the ministry. Thank you very much. I certainly appreciate that very, very much. You guys rock. I appreciate that. Thank you. Put on some pants. Well, I appreciate that, but I'm wearing pants. What is? I think you guys are drinking something. Maybe you. My gosh. Yeah, I wear the whole clergy outfit. So, whew, my goodness gracious. Book of Enoch is stupid. But look, the book of Enoch is highly misinterpreted, and so thank you, Debbie. I appreciate that. There is something. Too much church wine. Something is. I know, it's crazy. Okay, tonight we're going to talk about Slender Man, and then I'm going to get into some of your questions. I promise you. I'll get into some of your questions. Well, hello there, Philippines. Yep, you're right. Book of Enoch is not canon. I have lost weight. I talk about that. I'm out exercising, and so yep. Well, hello there, Philippines. I appreciate you being here. I like the let me talk about that. Freemasons. I have a lot of really good friends that are in the Freemasons, and let me tell you, Laura, it's okay. Let me tell you about the Freemasons. Regardless of what you may have documentary you've seen that says, oh, it's a secret society of Satan, and it's going to, and all these symbols, and they're worshiping Satan, and folks, listen. Let's just come back to earth for a little bit. Let's just come back to earth. It used to be a secret society. Thank you. That's right. Oh, computer. Thank you. It used to be a secret society. I know some Masons, and they are the most loving, compassionate, Christian individuals I've ever seen and I've ever met. There are Freemasons around where I live, and they're constantly feeding the poor and helping kids during Christmas whose parents are unable to afford any Christmas presents. They are very involved in Angel Tree, which I am too. These people are not devil worshipers. It just, people have got, as a matter of fact, I know a Grand Mason, and I've talked to him. He said, look, James, let me tell you something. If people come into the lodge and want to be a Mason, and they, for the sole purpose of finding out if we have all these demons and all this, they're going to be really, really sadly mistaken. So just please understand that there's documentaries out there that want to sell you all kinds of junk. And that's all it is junk. And they do it just because they want to frighten you. They do it because they want to scare you. They do it because they want to sell a documentary, because they're tag, folks. It's just like social media. It's a tagline. If they can tag a particular group and make it spooky and scary and mysterious, and then they can make a documentary out of it, and then people buy it, hook, line, and sinker. Now, are there satanic people in the Masons? I don't know. I've never met any, but I have quite a few friends that are Masons. I am not one. And I have, and every single one of those friends are very, very devoted and incredibly devout Christians. They're very welcoming to everyone. They're inclusive, but they're Christians. So come on. I just, to me, it just, I don't know, all this. I'm just not big into this. Everybody is okay, Guthrie. Anyway, there's a lot of what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Okay. Well, thank you very much, Danny. I appreciate you guys being here. The Illuminati, and as a matter of fact, I did a presentation on the Illuminati. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know where I put it. I probably threw it away. It was kind of strange. It was kind of strange because I did a presentation on the Illuminati, and I thought, you know what? I'm just going to show this to everybody. Well, my little light just lit on. Go off. Okay. Well, I can't find it, but hold on. Let me see if I can. Oh, here it is. Yep, here it is. So anyway, which is kind of strange. I just did a show. That's all it was. It was on the Illuminati, and then I got a ring in the mail in my PO box, and the response, all it was a simple note, handwritten note, and the note was "Wanna join?" That WANNA join ? That was it. And so they sent me this. So they sent me this little ring here. I was like, well, thanks for the ring. Appreciate it. What the hell am I going to do with it? Eat breakfast on it? It's a big ring. I mean, this thing is a big ring. It's pretty good size. I mean, compared to the bishop ring, see that? That's a pretty good size. It's a pretty good size ring. So yeah, that's all it said. I want to join. And here's what I'm thinking about the Illuminati. First of all, I think the no, it's not awesome, Justin. I think the Illuminati is for people who are multimillionaires or the powerhouse people who have incredible influence and all this other stuff. I'm a bishop that serves the poor. I don't charge anything. So that's a problem. It's a little bit of an issue. So I don't quite, that's real gold. Yeah. I had it looked at. It's cubic zirconians, but it's real gold. So want to join. Ed Lorraine. Okay. I did not know Ed, Danny, but I did know Lorraine. She was my friend. I thought a lot about Lorraine. I thought a lot. She was just a sweetheart of a person. She truly was. Lorraine was just a very kind-hearted. What you see is what you get. That's what I loved about Lorraine. She didn't put on airs. She wasn't, what you see is what you get. That's her. That was her. And I really have always respected that about her. And I think that Ed and Lorraine got a lot of bad publicity too. I understand that a lot of their cases, it was public, but you got to understand they were pioneers in the paranormal community. They were doing things that nobody else was. And not only that, but they did a lot of cases. They worked a lot of cases that you've never heard of before. Never. Because they never charged and they never, publicized them. So they worked a lot of cases that you've never heard about. And, the reason is you've heard about the famous cases because it got so much publicity. But they worked so many cases. And not only that, But Ed was brilliant with marketing. Ed knew marketing. That's one thing that Lorraine said. He knew how to get what he wanted. And, they developed kind of a popular personalities, I guess. People considered them celebrities, and they had quite a bit of following. And there was one gentleman that they were absolutely convinced that he was possessed and that he needed help. And they went to the church, and the church said no, they wouldn't help. And so Ed, in his brilliant marketing mind, said, okay, fine. You don't want to help? Fine. Then we'll call the media out. And I'll tell everybody about it, and that the church is not willing to help. And you know what? It worked. It worked. He had the media show up. He talked about the case. He said, yep, I contacted the church. The local church would not do anything. They would not take the case. And it wasn't that long afterwards that then the church got involved. And there was a resolution to the case. So, but he used his celebrity status, if you will, to help this person. And you have no idea what that case was. They didn't make it famous. They didn't make it popular. That man was possessed, but they didn't publicize it. He said, okay, fine. You're not going to help us. We'll go out. We'll use the media. And that's what they did. And, they got the church's attention, and they got help. So Ed and Lorraine did a lot of work that you guys, we don't know about. Now, I talked to Lorraine quite a bit about some of the cases that she's worked, and the Conjuring case. Ed was 1,000,000% convinced. Whether or not you believe Amityville was real or not, he was convinced that house had a demonic infestation. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Ed was, you could not convince him otherwise. You couldn't. But I liked Lorraine. I miss Lorraine. She was a sweetheart of a person. But anyway, there we go. All right. So that answers that question. It's a little long-winded, but hey, she's a cool person. What is that? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't like judging people. I just don't. Because honest to God, life is hard enough as it is. And I just don't believe in judging people. I just don't. Because I get judged. I mean, just in this very little time here that I've been on air. I mean, look at how many nasty comments have said. But well, thank you, Blue Line. I just don't believe in judging people. I don't. I welcome everybody. I don't care. To me, if it's not, I am not here to judge you. If you are whatever faith that you are, that's your faith. That's not my right to judge anybody, and I don't. And so, to me, I just I welcome everybody. It's just very, very simple. And you know what? I've always learned in life. I think that's because I talk to so many people who are going through so much hell in life, and they're going through it. And I have learned that the words you use matter. There are people who are at that edge of whether or not they're considering or contemplating suicide. And I speak to these people. And because they're so overwhelmed with life right now, they're just so overwhelmed. And I have learned that the words that we use matter, because you have no idea what that person is dealing with behind the scenes. You have no idea. And one nasty comment could be enough to bring that person to a point where they just say, I can't do it anymore. That to me, I could not lay my head on a pillow knowing that I said something nasty to someone that was the straw that broke the camel's back. I couldn't do it. And so for me, I have learned that the words we use matter. And my goal is that I want to be able to never, ever participate in hurting anybody, or putting that person to the edge. I want to be able to lift people up, because I've seen so many people hurt. So many people hurt. And that's why every time at the end of my show, I always say that your value does not decrease based on someone's inability or refusal to see your worth. You are priceless, and never let anybody convince you otherwise. And I mean that. So just because the trolls come in and they call you everything but your name, just because someone calls you a dog doesn't mean you have to bark. And just because they refuse to see your worth, well, that's the speck in their eye. That's a reflection on them. That's not a reflection on you. So don't allow people to define you. Never allow people to define you. You define yourself. And if you're going to accept someone's definition of you, then you're living their life, or the version of life that they want you to live. No, they have their own life. You have yours. You are not meant to live other people's life. You are meant to stand out. Okay? That's just what I believe. Slender Man. So for those of you who are struggling, for self-worth, whether you're LGBT, whether your pastor told you that you're in mortal sin because you got a divorce, or whatever it might be. Let me tell you something. If you don't have a church community, you do now, and it's called usocc.org. And we welcome you. We love you. We embrace you. And I think that's exactly what Christ would do. Slender Man, for those of you who don't know, there's a lot of people who swear that Slender Man is real. Just curious. I'm just curious. How many of you who actually believe that Slender Man is real? Again, and if you believe Slender Man's real, that's good. Okay, that's fine. That's your right to believe that. But I'm just curious. Nope. Okay, so this person said no. Mary says I do. Okay, no. So most people from TikTok are saying no, and thank you very much for that likes. It could be yes. Oh, Gomez says yes. Wow. Okay, maybe. All right. Not me. No. Let's see. I think he and Santa are one and the same. All right. So, well, there's a blue line. Okay. A myth. Oh, yes, absolutely. Zero. Is it true that demons can manifest themselves out of our fears? The demonic entity will actually use your fears. Demonic entities will use your fears, your weaknesses. But that's all through ordinary demonic activity. And we'll talk about that on top of the hour. But what I normally do is talk about a topic for the first hour. And then the second hour, I go into some of your questions, and I'll be more than happy to address that. So make sure you tell everybody, hey, if you don't want to hear about Slender Man for the next 20 minutes or so, just come back. Just come back at the top of the hour. I'll answer your questions, and we'll get into all the, I promise you. Yeah, I know it's terrible about the two girls who stabbed another because of a Slender Man. Yeah. Bishop Newsom, I thought Slender Man was a commercial thing. Well, yeah, it's probably all. Yeah, well, it is. Slender Man, and again, I'm not to impugn for those individuals who believe that he's real. There are some people who's absolutely convinced that Slender Man is real. But many people believe it's a fictional supernatural character that originated as a creepypasta internet meme created by Something Awful forum Eric Knudsen. Also known as Victor Surge, for those of you who don't know, in 2009. He is depicted as a thin, Slender Man, unnaturally tall humanoid with a featureless head and face wearing a black suit. Now, stories of the Slender Man commonly feature him stalking, abducting, and even traumatizing people, particularly children. The Slender Man has become a pop culture icon, although he is not confined to a single narrative, but appears in many works of fiction, totally composed online. Now, fiction relating to the Slender Man encompasses many media, including literature, art, even movies, and video series such as Marble Hornets, where he's known as the Operator. The character has appeared in video games, Slender, The 8 Pages, that was in 2012. And then, of course, he had another one in 2013, inspiring Enderman in Minecraft. He also appeared in the 2015 film of Marble Hornets. He was portrayed by Doug Jones. And there's other films where the Slender Man appeared in. Now, in 2014, a moral panic occurred over the Slender Man after readers of his fiction were connected to several violent acts, particularly a near-fatal stabbing of a 12-year-old girl in Wisconsin. The stabbing inspired the documentary Beware the Slender Man. It was released in 2016. I saw that. And, man, that's terrible. That is terrible. The Slender Man was created, again, in 2009 on a thread in Something Awful Internet Forum. The thread was a Photoshop contest in which users were challenged to create paranormal images. Now, forum poster Eric Knudsen, under the pseudonym Victor Surge, contributed to black and white images of groups of children, to which he added a tall, thin, spectral figure wearing a black suit. That's how it all started. Now, although previous entries had consisted solely on photographs, Surge supplemented his submission with snatches of text, supposedly from eyewitnesses, in describing the abductions of groups of children. And the quote under the first photograph that he submitted said, "We didn't want to go. We didn't want to kill them, but it persisted, silence, and outstretched arms, horrified, and comforted us at the same time." And the quote under the second photograph that he submitted read, "One of 2 recovered photographs from the Sterling City Library blaze, notable for being taken the day which 14 children vanished, and for what was referred to as the Slender Man. Deformities cited as film defects by officials. Fire at library occurred 1 week later, although photograph confiscated as evidence." But that wasn't a true story at all. It was completely made up, 100% made up. That never occurred. But he created this narrative. And see, just because that's what I'm saying, when you create this narrative, just like that, it's just like that. And it's crazy. It's to me, it's amazing when you see something like that, and then you have people who actually they're absolutely convinced, and that was from Wikipedia. You can easily get that information. It's all online. But when you see that, and you think, boy, how can a society, based on what was clearly something that was created, it makes you kind of think, are we that gullible then as a society? Some people really are absolutely convinced Slender Man exists. So most of the time he appears obviously as male in appearance. He also appears to have 4 to 8 long black tentacles that protrude from his back. Though different photographs and enthusiasts disagree on this fact, therefore it's theorized he can't contract. He can contract these tentacles at will. Now, he's described as wearing a black suit, and as the name suggests, appears very thin. He's able allegedly to stretch his limbs and torso to inhuman lengths in order to induce fear and ensnare his prey. Now, whether he absorbs, kills, or merely takes his victims is to an undisclosed location or dimension is really unknown, as there are never any bodies or evidence left behind because it's never occurred. His face is pale, allegedly slightly ghostly, and people have sent me all kinds of videos and pictures. Don't you see? It's Slender Man. It's Slender. And when that movie came out, I was inundated with so many pictures and can you take a look at this? And is this Slender Man? And like, oh, come on, people. And it was all Photoshop. I don't know. So much of the fascination with Slender Man is rooted in the overall aura of mystery that he's wrapped in, despite the fact that that's rumored he kills children. That's what allegedly that this is brought up. Now here's and this is true. Even though Slender Man was fabricated on the Something Awful forums, some people have already claimed sightings, and they swear that they have seen this thing. He is seen mostly at night, peering into open windows, walks out in front alone, and motorists and secluded roads. Some people say his main intentions appear to be kidnapping children, again, as I mentioned. But there are people, I've never seen Slender Man. I've never seen it. But there are people who say absolutely. Now, there are also people who claim that there is historical evidence that Slender Man has been around for a long, long time, that it's not just something new. As a matter of fact, some people say that the earliest argued reference to the legend is within the cave paintings found in the Serra da Capivara National Park in the northeast of Brazil, which are believed to date for as far back as 9000 BC. And allegedly, these paintings show a strangely elongated character leading a child by the hand, but make no reference to the extra appendages. Now, I've tried to look this up. It's SERR, and I probably butchered the Spanish. It's been many, many years since I took Spanish. Serra da Capivara, Capivara National Park. And I tried to find it. I couldn't find anything of Slender Man paintings that allegedly has happened, but that I would say, yeah, that looks like a Slender Man to me. But you do see, the only thing that I have seen is it looks like there's a man standing, and it looks like there's branches or something coming off this guy's arms. I guess that's the tentacles. I don't know. So I assume that's what they're referring to. But we just don't know what that means. Also, Egyptian hieroglyphics. For those of you who don't know, yeah, thank you, Blue Line 1108. That's very, very kind of you. I appreciate the gifts to the ministry. Thank you. In Egyptian hieroglyphics, the next known possible reference to Slender Man comes from around 3100 BC in Lower Egypt, with references to the thief of the gods, or thief of Kuk, becoming commonplace during the reign of Pharaoh Wasner. The hieroglyphic carvings representing the thief were found in the pharaoh's tomb, who was rumored to have some kind of encounter with the entity. And the carvings resemble a strange figure with multiple upper limbs, one that has never been found in any other hieroglyphic language. Also in German, was he in a suit all those years? Well, actually, in the national park, it's just a black silhouette, and you clearly see it. It's a large figure, but some people even argue that that's Bigfoot. So it really depends on which group that you're referring to. In German woodcuts, a renowned German woodcutter, Hans Freckenberg, that's a German name, created at least 2 woodcuts featuring a character he described as Der Ritter, the knight, during the mid-16th century that were discovered in Holzberg Castle in 1883, or Holzberg Castle. Now, while Frickenberg was well known for his realistic depiction of his human anatomy, something was unusual among woodcuts at the time. These pictures featured a skeletal, multi-limbed creature. And historians are unsure of the exact symbolic nature of this character. They don't know what it was. What in the world was he doing? However, many insist that Frickenberg was attempting to represent Der Grabmann, which is the tall man. Because according to legend, he was a fairy who lived in the Black Forest. Der Grabmann. Bad children who crept into the woods at night would be relentlessly chased by this thing who wouldn't leave them until he either caught them or they were forced to tell their parents of their wrongdoing. So that's pretty interesting. And when you really think about, when you look into history and you find these things and you see stories of this, it kind of makes you, yeah, Krampus, right? In Roman mythology, by the way, there's a Romanian fairy tale which tells the legend of the tall man, featuring the description, which may have taken to refer to the Slender Man. Now, the Romanian mythology says the tall man stood in a clearing, dressed as a nobleman, all in black. Shadows lay over him, dark as a cloudy midnight. He had many arms, all long and boneless as snakes, all sharp as swords, and they writhed like worms on nails. He did not speak, but made his intentions known. And in the fairy tale, the tall man causes a mother to kill her husband and child before he slid from a fireplace and clenched her in his burning embrace. Man, that sounds like, you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of A Nightmare Before Christmas. Jack the Pumpkin King. Right? It kind of does. If you think about that, it kind of reminds me of, I wonder if the Jack the Pumpkin King, that's interesting. I wonder if that's where they got Jack the Pumpkin King from. I just kind of dawned on me. I don't know. Oh yeah, Blue. That's very nice. Thank you, Blue. Okay, so there's a lot of beliefs that this character is true, and I don't know. I'm not a big fan of believing, but I'm very open minded. So to me, it's kind of like, okay, it's possible. I guess it's possible, but we all know the situation. We most of the story where, for those of you who don't know, it was nationwide headlines in May of 2014. It was terrible. I remember this when the media reported that two 12-year-old girls in Wisconsin stabbed their friend in their woods. And when the police asked the girls why they stabbed their friend, they answered that they tried to kill her to prove themselves worthy of Slender Man. And news headlines blamed the crime on Slender Man, calling him, and here's the deal, the news headlines blamed the crime on Slender Man, calling him, quote, the internet meme that compelled two 12-year-old girls to stab their friend, and the fictional online creature that drove two young girls to stab their friend. Shortly after the news of the stabbing, the media began to report other violent crimes linked to Slender Man. And someone had posted mass media. And this resulted in moral panic and hysteria, with the media dubbing the online community that created Slender Man an internet horror cult that almost caused a killing. In an internet school for murder, spawning a deadly cult that moldings vulnerable teens into potential killers. Now, for those of you who didn't see it, this HBO's documentary on the Wisconsin crime, it's called Beware the Slender Man. I encourage you to watch it. I have seen it. I tell you what, it was creepy. Not because of the Slender Man aspect. It was creepy because when they talked to the young girls who try to kill their friend, it was no emotion. It was no emotion, no empathy. Oh yeah, we just, because, Slender Man, and we did this and we did that. And I thought, my gosh, this is frightening to me. That is far more frightening than the concept of Slender Man. When you think about that for a second, Slender Man, you can debate all day long whether or not it's legitimate. You can say, there's no such thing as Slender Man. But one thing you can't debate is the fact that these young girls retold their story to the police with no emotion, no sadness, no remorse, nothing. That is more frightening to me. I did that before. I don't believe it was possession at all. That's a good question. I don't believe they were possessed. And here's why. they remembered everything. They remembered everything, the whole thing. And not only did they remember it, but they also knew what led up to it. They knew why they were doing it. They had the intent was to appease the Slender Man that they created this not they didn't create it, but this belief that Slender Man wanted them to do it. Now that kind of leads me to believe, I wonder if there's schizophrenia going on. But I don't think that they were possessed, because they remembered exactly why they did what they did. And a person who's possessed would not remember. They would not remember that. They remember what led up to the stage of possession, but they do not remember the actual stage of possession. It's like a catatonic state. You go into a dream state and you don't remember. But yeah, it's terrible. If you want to send me, someone and a troll on my TikTok, when I told someone to contact me on Facebook, they said, "Yeah, right. Clergy telling people to contact them on Facebook." Okay, well, again, before judging, perhaps maybe you should ask why. I used to give my number out, but then I stopped really, really quickly, because after my experience with being on Ghost Adventures on the Bobby Mackeys, my phone was ringing off the hook. Some people would call me at 4 o'clock in the morning. 2 o'clock in the morning, and they would call me nonstop. And then they would say, "Can you tell me how is Zach in real life? What is he like?" It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, I know, but I just want to know, what's he like in life? It's 4 o'clock in the morning. So I would be slammed with phone calls. I mean, slammed. And so I stopped. That's why I didn't give thank you very much. Oh, please. That's why I don't give my number out anymore, because my gosh, if I did, then I would never get any sleep. It is. It's insanity. I mean, people would just, it depends on the lights, because I have different lights on. So sometimes they're hazel, sometimes they're blue. It depends on the lights. Fly, but somebody, I don't understand your question. Fly, but troublesome. Not sure why you're here if you don't support or don't want to learn. Asking for, I don't understand. Fly, but somebody, can you verify what you mean? Because I don't quite understand your question, or a statement, or I don't. Anyway, yeah, I'm not. Oh, it's quite all right. It's quite all right. I'm not a big fan of the whole Slender Man. Both, Jeff. And but I think it's terrible what happened. Okay. Well, let's get into some of your questions, because some of you doesn't seem like you're too terribly interested in Slender Man. That's okay. I have not Paranormal State. Nope. I wish Michael Myers was real. Why? Why would you want Michael Myers to be real? Okay. All right. So let's get into some of your questions, and then we'll kind of, one thing I asked, look, no matter what it is, if it's an online sensation, or just kind of, you gotta look at the logical perspective first, and then kind of go from there. Okay. The question, I just saw this. What's the difference between mental illness and possession? It's a good question. It's a very good question, because a lot of people get that confused, and they ask me all the time, how do you know if someone is actually possessed versus how do you know if somebody's perhaps, truly or mentally ill? Well, there's a lot. Well, that's very beautiful. And for those of you who have no idea what I'm saying, well, that's very beautiful. People are offering gifts to the ministry, and sometimes there's images that come up on the screen in TikTok, and it's very pretty. Thank you very much. Okay, so let's talk about mental illness versus possession. All right, let's discuss it. First of all, I am not trained as a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychiatrist. And so for me, I would never classify someone as mentally ill or with a mental illness. That would be irresponsible for me. But if someone tells me, Bishop Long, I want you to perform an exorcism on me, number one, I tell them I don't do it on command. And then two, I tell them that, look, you have to understand that there's a process. And the process is because I respect you and I don't want to harm you. Because I want to verify the fact that you're not dealing with a mental illness. And I will ask, do you have a history of mental illness? Or what type of medications are you taking? Because remember, there are some medications that you take that can cause you to hallucinate. And so I need to know these things. So I speak to a person who is trained in the medical field, and I tell them, look, these are the medicines that they're taking. And they tell me, look, it can cause hallucination. That's important because you don't want to feed into someone's psychosis. If the person is not mentally ill, then that's a different thing. But they can also be something that can be explained logically through the medications that they're taking. And so you have to be careful about this. So the question then is, what about someone who's mentally ill? What do you do? Well, first of all, I require a psychiatric evaluation. It's non-negotiable. Well, I don't want to have a psychiatric evaluation. Well, then I'm sorry, I can't work with you. And if people say, well, that's unfair. It's not unfair because I work with people who actually are, they are legally allowed. They're licensed mental health therapists, and they can administer a psychological evaluation to a patient. They can do that online with the individual, and they will tell me whether or not they believe it is dangerous for me to actually proceed or not. So, and not only that, but they offer it at a very, very discounted rate. I have nothing to do with that. I just simply say, this is a person who is licensed, a licensed mental health therapist, and they're allowed to give you a psychological evaluation. If you can't go to a psychiatrist, because the psychiatrist is going to cost you double. So that's a requirement. And the reason is look, folks, someone who has dissociative identity disorder, if I perform an exorcism on that person, I can create another personality or another identity. This is why I get really irritated when I see these pastors performing exorcisms on people with no psychological evaluation. None. And I think, how much damage are you doing to this person's mental health based solely on the fact that now you're putting a camera in this person's face and everyone's screaming, hooping, and hollering just so that you can get more money in the collection plate? And that to me is an abomination. That's wrong. And it shouldn't be made a spectacle of. This is not entertainment hour. This is not time for someone to be able to sit back, eat some popcorn, and drink a Coke and watch the show. That to me passes the line of just human decency. I mean, there are some sacred lines that should not be crossed, and that's one of them. Using exorcism for the sole purpose of entertainment is wrong. I have never, and I never, ever, never will perform an exorcism on anybody on camera. It will never happen. I've been offered my own television show. Substantial amount of money. And I absolutely not. Matter of fact, I did that in front of a whole entire group of people. I was in Illinois. I was doing a presentation on demonology, and a whole group of people. I had the phone. I answered the phone, and because I didn't have it off when I did the speech. I said hello, and they said, hello, my name is so and so from this network. They told me all about the show, a guaranteed salary of this or income of this, and it was nice. And I said, so you're all you want me to do is perform an exorcism on camera. You'll follow me around, put a camera in someone's face, the power of Christ compels you, and the person is, going through what they think they should go through, whether or not they're mentally ill or not. And you're going to guarantee X amount of money. And it was substantial. Yeah, absolutely. And then I told them, don't ever call me again. You need to go to church and you need to ask God for forgiveness for what you just done. Shame on you. And a whole room of people in a paranormal conference saw this. I just think it's wrong. I think it's immoral. It's unethical, because if my family member, I wouldn't want my family member to be taken advantage of like that. I wouldn't want anybody to be taken advantage of at all like that. And to me, That to me is an abomination. So if someone has dissociative identity disorder and you perform an exorcism on them, you can create another identity. If they're paranoid schizophrenic, you could put them in a manic state and they could harm themselves or harm others. This is very dangerous. This is not something to play around with. This is quite serious. And I, to be honest with you, I think this is my opinion, I think there needs to be some type of governmental oversight when it comes to exorcisms. And the reason being is because there's far too many people who are mentally ill, who are claiming to be possessed, and you have clergy then charging an arm and a leg for these exorcisms and doing severe damage to that person's psyche. And that clergy should be thrown in prison because that's abuse. That I don't care. That is abuse. You're abusing a person who is mentally ill for the sole purpose of $1. You should be put in jail. And that's real talk. I find that to be that to me, clergy who performs an exorcism on someone without having a psychological evaluation and not really even caring, and then turning around and charging that person for the said exorcism, that to me is just as dangerous as the person who is possessed themselves. Because I actually believe it is the clergy who needs the exorcism. Now that is real talk. It is the clergy who is performing these exorcisms on people without having psychological evaluations, who don't give a damn, who put a camera in front of that person just so they can have entertainment hour and put it on YouTube so they can get some money. Those clergy members truly need an exorcist to perform an exorcism on them, because it's them who are in fact that are possessed by the demonic. It's disgusting. So, as the diatribe I've gone into, after the psychological evaluation has been performed and the person is clearly not showing any signs of possession, or of mental illness. Okay. Understand that a person who's possessed, and I'll get to your other questions, but hang tight. Can a mentally ill person be possessed? Certainly. No question about it. But an exorcist will do things to verify, in fact, that the person is truly possessed. For example, a person who is possessed will have knowledge of future events and hidden things. So demon-possessed people have been known to gain a sudden knowledge about things that were never shared with others, or even reveal future events that come true. Or perhaps maybe you have the Eucharist in your bag, or you have a relic of a saint relic, and before you put it out, the demonic will tell you the St. Francis relic won't help you. Now that's not mental illness, because mental illness does not give you the ability to know what's in the exorcist bag, especially if it's a saint relic, or relic of a saint, I should say. They will have superhuman strength. Now, a person who's on PCP can also have superhuman strength. But I've seen an 80-pound woman have the strength of 5 men. Speaking in unknown or strange languages. So I will pray the Our Father in Aramaic. So it starts out, Abundas Maya Makara Shamuk. And then the demonic entity has actually said it backwards in the form of mockery. I can't even say the Our Father in English backwards, let alone Aramaic. And a levitation can occur. Now, I have seen a form of levitation, not as the movie The Exorcist, but I've seen a levitation to where the person was laying down like this, and their head was here, and her feet were here, and her torso was in the middle, and she just went up just like this in a V shape, just like that. And I could hear her back crack. And a matter of fact, I was afraid that she was going to break her back. But just like this. And it was almost as if someone had was a puppet. It was just literally just like someone just pulled the string, and it just went just like this. Smells will occur. Omitting smells of feces, or sulfur. And And the reason sulfur is because it's a form of mockery, because it speaks in Revelation how the demonic entities will be thrown into the lake of sulfur. There will also be a very severe reaction to holy relics or sacred items. Now, we call these holy water, incense, we call those sacramentals. And I will do things that the person doesn't know what I'm doing. And that's basically, I am forcing the entity to manifest itself. And once the demonic then begins to tell me, the holy water there is not going to hurt, or, don't waste your time on the oil when I haven't even put out the oil yet, or the incense, things of this nature. Also, there's a term called prognostication. Now, prognostication is the ability to provide information about people they didn't even know. So let's say the demonic will know something about a deceased relative or a friend. Just anything. They'll tell you something just to intimidate you. That's all it is intimidation. And also there's a term called retrocognition. And retrocognition is the ability to tell strangers about their past transgressions, which is sins. Now, please understand that the demonic entity does not read your mind. They're not all-knowing. God is all-knowing. But the reason is demonic entities know your sins is because there's two types of demonic activity. There's ordinary and then extraordinary. Ordinary demonic activity is when the demonic it will cause you through temptation, you fall into sin. So it knows your past transgressions because it's the one that tempted you to sin in the first place. Now, here's why the book of Enoch, by the way, here's why we do not consider Enoch in Scripture. It's canon. The book of Enoch has very serious flaw with it. Very serious flaw. And I'll tell you why. The book of Enoch says that angels had relationships with women, and that the offspring were in fact the Nephilim. And then of course documentaries and television shows all about the Nephilim, and everybody, oh my gosh, the Nephilim. Folks, I've said this a million times. Listen to me carefully, okay? Genesis chapter 6, verse 4 tells us very plainly that the Nephilim were not the offspring of the sons of men, or sons of God, in that case, the sons of God and the women. They were not. Genesis chapter 6, verse 4 tells us that the Nephilim existed before and after the sons of God took the women to be their wives. So therefore, the Nephilim could not have been the offspring of angels and women. Furthermore, Jesus tells us that there's no gender with angels or demons for that matter. And finally, the sons of God in Hebrew culture, folks, the sons of God, they were children of Seth. That's who the sons of God were. It's very clear. Seth, by the way, was a third child of Adam and Eve. So that's who the sons of God were. You can ask any rabbi and they'll tell you. The sons of God were not demons. The sons of God were children of Seth. That's the answer. Okay. So, and by the way, even St. Paul, remember, St. Paul tells us very clearly in 1 Timothy chapter 1, verse 4 and verse 7. 1 Timothy chapter 1, verse 4 through 7. St. Paul tells us, stop wasting your time on endless genealogy and myths like the Nephilim. Because even, see, in St. Paul's time, what happened is in the 3rd and 2nd century BC, culture, society, misinterpreted the Nephilim, and that the book of Enoch brought that misinterpretation into its writings. And so Paul even said then, the endless genealogies, by the way, the why he mentioned endless genealogies is because the book of Enoch goes all the way back to a genealogy to Satan. And furthermore, the book of Enoch places the responsibility of sin, it places it directly on the demonic entity's shoulders. It takes the responsibility off of our shoulders and says, oh, no, we're not culpable of sinning. It's all about the demons. It's all the demons' fault. Well, no, it's not. The demons may tempt us, but we are the ones who fall into that temptation. So Paul even says, stop wasting your time about endless genealogies and the myths, the foolish myths, actually he calls it the Nephilim. So no, they were not offspring of angels and women. And they were absolutely not giants. They were not demons. Sorry to tell you guys, the sons of God were children of Seth. And by the way, in Greek, Nephilim actually means fierce warriors. Has nothing to do with giants. So I'm sorry to burst people's bubble, because I know so many people want to believe this stuff, but you know, there's so much myth out there, and it's sad. It's quite sad. Okay. I couldn't read it. These are so small. The print is so small in these things. Yep, I know. I got to read the reading glasses. Well, I would encourage you to read the book of Enoch. I would encourage you. Look, I've read all the Gnostic Gospels too. I've read the Gospel of Thomas, the Gospel of Judas. I read the Gospel of Mary Magdalene. I've read all the Gnostic Gospels, and I think it's important that you should, because you need to learn what the Gnostic Gospels say, and that's why there's a reason why some of them were not, well, all of them were not included into canon, and there's a reason for that. I mean, again, the Gospel of Thomas, and I've talked about this many times. The Gospel of Thomas actually says that when Jesus was a little boy, he threatened to turn a little boy into a frog because the little boy accidentally bumped into Jesus. Come on. And the Gospel of Judas is just crazy. I mean, it's like this new age. I guess he was a palm reader. Not to impugn anyone who's a palm reader. If you are, God love you. I'm not trying to upset or insult anyone, because I know there's a lot of people who are psychic mediums out there. Okay, I'm not here to judge you. Actually, I'm here. I've defended you many times. But when you read the Gospel of Judas, it's like, dude, get away from astronomy. Of course, the Gospel of Judas also says he's the favorite disciple, and that Jesus bestowed upon him special knowledge, Gnosticism, that he didn't share with anybody else. So it's kind of like, so anyway, that's the story there. Okay. Do I feel Heather, daughter of the king? That's interesting. Do you feel fear of when performing exorcisms? No, I don't. The first time I did, and I think the first time I was intimidated, and I'll be honest, because you read, and then you kind of, when you see someone's eyes go completely solid black, you can read about it all day long, all day. But when you're actually there and you experience it, and the temperature change in the room, and the smell, and the body becoming very rigid, and the voice, voice meaning the voice that it amplifies. It tries to throw your senses off, is what it's doing. It's trying to intimidate you. But the first exorcism that I did, I was trying to see at what stage the person was in the possession, and I lifted the eyelids, and the eyes were solid black. And I had read about cases like that, and but when you're doing it, it's a different world. It's a different, well, it actually reminds me, I'm looking at my iPhone here, and it kind of almost reminded me, if you look at your iPhone without it on, and that blackness where you can almost see your reflection, but it's actually a little brighter. It was a little brighter than this. I could actually see my reflection in the eyes, and I couldn't move. I couldn't move. I couldn't think. I couldn't talk. Yeah, that was intimidating because I wasn't prepared. I mean, again, it was that was intimidating. But anyway, yeah, it was kind of crazy. All right, because like I said, when you read about it and you know that it can happen, but when you actually see it, that gives you a different perspective, a completely different perspective. It was quite some time. I served as the assistant at that time. Yeah. So, yeah, there we go. It can be. It can be. Oh, sure. Yeah, yeah, I can. All right. What other questions you guys have? Since we have, this is kind of one of the reasons why I don't do too much, because that's why I like to talk about. I like to give a presentation and then kind of go from there. Okay. Of the book of Enoch and Jesus. Well, actually, the teaching of the angels do not marry cannot be found anywhere in the Old Testament. It's only found in the first Enoch and of course, or the authentic Enoch, as people say, in Matthew chapter 22. I think it's verse 29 through 30. Not only did Jesus call the book of Enoch, he talked about the book of Enoch, but he rebuked the Sadducees as well. And we also see in Jude chapter 14, verse 15. So he's rebuking this belief that angels took women. And so that's a theory that people say, but no. I mean, the problem with the book of Enoch, again, I don't believe that the book of Enoch, I think the biggest problem with the book of Enoch, of course, is the misinterpretation of the Nephilim. But I also think that it was, I don't like the fact that it puts the blame of sin on demons. And it really does. It takes the blame of sin off of our shoulders completely. It gives us a scapegoat, as if we have no say in our sins. And to me, I don't believe that. I just don't, I don't agree with that at all. So that's just me. I just not a big fan of that. And because I think, in Matthew, Jesus was speaking to the Sadducees. And because, remember, because if you remember the story, the Sadducees began with a fictional story about a woman who had been married seven different times, so all brothers. As a matter of fact, we just had that reading, as a matter of fact, just this past Sunday, for this past Wednesday for Bible study. And the Sadducees presented him with an unrealistic application, of a Levirate marriage. So basically, if a woman marries in her house, and they have several brothers, and he dies, and then she marries another brother, because that's what the law said, that you have to take this widow, because it's a widow of your brother, to take care of her. So when they get into heaven, then who's she going to be married to? So they were just trying to play around and do this type of thing. And Jesus' answer has three parts. First, Jesus told the Sadducees they did not understand Scripture. Acts 23 verse 8 tells us that they did not believe in the resurrection of the dead. So why even ask the question? You see, that's the first problem right there. They didn't even believe in the resurrection. So they created a story which they didn't even believe. Jesus was correct. They didn't understand Scripture. And there are many passages in Scripture that teach the resurrection of the dead. We see this in Genesis chapter 22, verse 5. So it was just what they secondly, by the way, the Sadducees failed to realize that people would not be married in the resurrection. They did not think about the implication of the resurrection. Obviously, Psalms chapter 1, verse 5 through 6 teaches that the wicked will perish. And that is what a person believes about God and how it affects his or her life. So, and it goes on and on. I'm not going to, it's more Bible study. But anyway, no, Jesus did not. But I appreciate your thought. Anyway, but keep in mind, we're talking about the 3rd and 2nd century BC. I mean, there was belief that the Nephilim, this misinterpretation. So this wasn't new information in Jesus's time. But anyway, that's I think that's hopefully that answers your question. Maybe not. I don't know. So Jesus was not quoting the book of Enoch. More important question for us is whether Jesus was referring to the statement as Scripture. The answer is no, since his point was to the Sadducees. Number one, they didn't understand what Scripture taught about resurrection. Two, they did not understand that a person believes what a person believes about God and in lifetime and the destiny. And so, no, the Sadducees failed to understand the Scripture. Jesus' comment about the angels was new revelation. Do you understand? It was new revelation. If Jesus was talking about the book of Enoch, then that would not have been new revelation. He would have just simply regurgitated old information that the Sadducees already knew. But he did not. He actually corrected them. Because now the Sadducees certainly believed in it, but not Jesus. Jesus was saying, no, you got it all wrong. So a revelation about angels and himself. So, and he did the same thing in Matthew chapter 22, verse 29 through 30. So anyway, and by the way, the Jewish people also did not, they have not included the book of Enoch in the Hebrew Bible. So it's not in the Protestant Bible, and it's not in the Roman Catholic Bible. Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, 131,000 likes tonight. Holy moly. That is crazy wonderful. Thank you very much for all those who are pushing the like button. You guys, I appreciate very, very much. Thank you. Sent you a question. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate that. That's a good question. Ask, why is it easy for people to believe in the paranormal? That's a good question. And deny the Trinity. I think for whatever reason, I think a lot of people want to, perhaps people deny the Trinity because the Trinity technically is not found in Scripture, the term Trinity. But we have come to understand the Trinity through scriptural passages. And so many people, it's fascinating actually when I even talk to Christians and I talk to them about the Trinity and I tell them Jesus is God. You're aware of that? No, he's not. He's the Son of God. And then you try to explain, no, he's the second person of the Trinity. So I understand people's confusion about the Trinity because there are a lot of Catholics, a lot of Catholics, Roman Catholics, Old Catholics, Eastern Orthodox that are concerned or are confused about the Trinity period. And I understand that. I can understand people's confusion about it because in many churches, the Trinity is really not taught because it can go, really, if you're not able to explain it in a way to where people can say, oh, okay, that makes sense. Because if you use as what Miss Wilma always says, $20 football words, if you use $20, big theological, definitions, you're going to lose people. And it's very easy to lose people when you're speaking about the Trinity. Very, very easy. So I can understand people's confusion about it. But I think quite honestly, I think that is the confusion could be because it's not actually properly taught. Because really, honest to God, when it comes to the Trinity, when you're trying to define God, how can you define something in which cannot be defined? Because all of our definition, God exists outside of that. So we try to define God in a way that we can conceptualize, but you're trying to define something that exists outside of our very existence. So then that's no matter what we do, no matter what we say, we're never going to be able to define God exactly to the T. This is God. No, God is love. Nope. God is more than love. God is perfect. Nope. God is more than perfect. God is compassionate. Nope. God is more than compassionate. You see, no matter what term, no matter what verbiage we use, God, it will always be more than. That's why when they always ask, what is your name? And the reason is they wanted to know what his name was, what God's name was, because once you know the name, you know the identity. And that's why God always says, I am. Even Jesus referred to, I am. So, but for those of you of the Trinity, even think of it like this, and I know this is very elementary, so please, for those of you who are theologians, please forgive me, but I try to explain it to a point where, everybody can try to conceptualize it. So, Shannon Long is my sister. Shannon Long just gave me a little thing, that a little dog. Well, all right, a little dog on TikTok. Shannon Long is my sister. Now, I want everybody to think of Shannon Long. Okay, fine. Shannon Long is a mom. Shannon Long is a sister. Shannon Long is a friend. Now, Caleb and Katie know Shannon Long as mom. It's still Shannon Long, but their relationship to Shannon Long is mom. I know, and my siblings know, Shannon Long as a sister. That's how we know Shannon Long, through our relationship as brother and sister. Some people know Shannon Long is friend. They still know Shannon Long. They can't know exactly everything about Shannon, because Shannon Long is more than just a friend, isn't she? Shannon Long is also a sister. Shannon Long is also a mom. Shannon Long is also a teacher. So there's a lot more to Shannon Long than just friend. There's a lot more to Shannon Long than just sister. There's a lot more to Shannon Long than just mom. But how we come to know a glimpse of Shannon Long is through our relationship with her. Do you understand? It's the same thing with the Trinity. The Creator. God, Father, Son, Jesus, Holy Spirit, love, compassion. The Spirit, the love between the God and the Son. So we can know a glimpse of God through our relationship with the Holy Spirit. When we're filled with the Holy Spirit, we're going in church and we're hallelujah and we feel it. We get a small glimpse of God. But remember, God is more than just the Holy Spirit. We come to know God just a little bit through Jesus Christ, through our relationship with Christ. We come to get a glimpse of God through the relationship as the Father. Do you understand? Still the Creator. Do we know everything about the Creator? No, we don't. So that's the best way for me to explain the Trinity in its, I think, most simplistic way. Okay. You're very, very welcome. Very welcome. Okay. I have a question not related to what you're explaining. Okay, no problem. What's your question there? Yeah. It's sad that many people, that a lot of clergy are not teaching it, but that's okay. With ice too. Yeah, ice cubes, liquid. Yeah. Do you know the keyboard cat meme? No. Well, that's okay. That's okay. G Price 1228. That's okay. That's okay. You're very, very welcome there, Jeannie. So let's see what. Yeah, I don't want to get into a Bible study lesson. So because we do that on Sundays and Wednesdays. Okay. So okay, orbs. That's a good question because that's a lot of people are really, really get confused with the orbs, folks. Orbs, 99% of the time, orbs are dust. They're dust particles. In the paranormal community, orbs are really not taken seriously. They're just not. Most of the time, they are eliminated. So we can explain orbs the majority of the time. Dust particles or bugs. Now there are even light particles. Now, so somebody saying, "Now wait a minute, Bishop Long, that's not true because what about?" I've seen different lights, and that's not dust. Remember, it's a light particle. So the flash sometimes of the camera can cause it to be blue, red, purple. I've seen a lot of times it's dust. However, there have been cases where I have seen orbs where you blow it up and there's something inside that thing. It's not just simply dust. So I can't say we should disregard every single orb out there, because matter of fact, we did an investigation once. I think it was in Frankfurt. We snapped a picture, and just as we snapped the picture, one of the investigators actually fell down the stairs. And when we blew it up, there was this orb, but it had this weird design, strange looking. When you blew it up, it's like, what in the world was that? So, but it was really interesting. So, anyway, most of the time, orbs are not. Most of they're just, yeah. And even Diana says, I've seen faces and orbs. Yeah, so have I. So, can you close a portal that is open, and how do you do that? Okay. First of all, don't open a portal. Look, folks, portals are nothing magical. Portals are, for example, I can use this as a portal. Yeah, my allergies are killing me. I can use this as a portal. So I can, for example, I can place this on the table and say, if there's a spirit, can you please move my glasses? Spirit, the glasses then move. I have opened up a portal. A portal is just think of it like this. It is whatever tool or space that you're using to communicate with the spirit world. You're opening up that communication. You're opening up that portal. Now, people say the way to close that portal is I close this portal in the name of Jesus Christ. You pray the St. Michael prayer. The problem is, here's the issue with that. Once you open the portal, then anything and everything can come through. And I know people say to me, well, now, wait a minute. Now, hold on, Bishop Long. I pray to St. Michael and I tell nothing evil can come through this portal. The demonic doesn't care what you say. That doesn't work. Once you open up the portal is open. You can't say, oh, I'm going to give this invitation and only the good spirits come through. The demonic entities are demonic for a reason. They don't care what you say or think. They're not going to follow by your rules if they don't even follow God's rules. You see, you got to think like that. If they're not even going to follow God's rules, then what makes you think they're going to follow yours? You see? So you got to be careful with that type of line of thinking. And they don't. So once the portal is open, that's it. That you're right. It's there. Now, the legal right is a Protestant terminology. That has been used oftentimes, with demonology, the legal right. I mean, legal right. What are you going to sue them? So for me, I never really liked that term, legal right. It is their moral right, because the invitation has been given. So now they have a right to enter. And so, how do people get possessed? Most of the time, it is through invitation. Whether it is invitation through accidental invitation or purposeful, and it can also be, you might have moved into a place that had a demonic infestation. So that's quite possible too. Not all shadow people are evil. And not all shadow people are evil. I've been to, matter of fact, oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you, I'm going to be at Waverly Hills tomorrow. If you're in Louisville, Kentucky, stop on by. I'm going to be giving a presentation on November the 5th at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Waverly Hills, it's at Horrorpalooza weekend, and I think it's Horrorpalooza. Yep, horrorpaloozaweekend.com. And there's going to be a lot of presentations there, a lot of people giving presentations, and I'll be giving mine at 6 p.m. Eastern. And so if you're in Louisville, come on, stop on by. It'd be great to see you. I'd love to meet you. Yeah, that'd be wonderful. I would appreciate. Seriously, if you're close there, come on. Waverly Hills is amazing. Waverly Hills. So someone was asking a question, but my mind just said goodbye. I sometimes I get on a thing and then I forget the question, but my bad. Open for years. A Ouija board. Okay, Ouija board, folks. Do not destroy Ouija boards. So here's the deal. If you have used any object and now you're having activity in your home, what you need to do is there's two things. One, you need your home blessed. Two, you need to get rid of the item, whatever item it was, that you use to communicate with the spirit world. So, for example, a lot of people will send me their items. Fine. Send me the item and I will bless it. I will close the portal. I will end that conversation. That'll be done. And your house needs to be blessed. And you can do that. I can walk you through it. It's called the Epiphany of the Doors. It's a beautiful, beautiful prayer. It's very ancient. So if you have anything, and I have collected quite a few items. I don't have anything here. I have quite a few items that people have either bought haunted items, and then they would bring them into their home, and then all hell broke loose. And then they want to know, what do I do? Do not burn it. Yeah, that's right. Do not burn it. Do not destroy them. You send them to me, and I will take care of it for you. And then I will teach you how to bless your home as well. Keys of Solomon is preposterous. Yeah, absolutely preposterous. Not only is it preposterous, but it infuriates me because of what's being taught, and I don't like it because then people get confused and they think it's real, and then what happens is, you know what? I think that's going to be a very good Friday show, because I want to dedicate Friday to that, because I don't want to do that in 5 seconds. So what I will do that on next Friday, I will discuss the Key of Solomon, and I'm going to absolutely obliterate it. So if you want to, come here next week, hear all about the Keys of Solomon, and I'll be more than happy to do that. Well, the problem is if you burn it, then you have not closed the portal. And not only that, but if a demonic is attached to it, that's a form of provocation. So don't. And look, so here's what you need to do. Okay. And again, I'm doing this all, and I'm not charging anybody for this. I'm trying to do this to help. So if you want to do it, I put it on the Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. For those of you who are on TikTok, here's the website. The website is the post office box. It's Bishop James Long. Bishop James Long, Long. And you can send it to my post office box. It's P.O. Box 754. And that is in Lebanon Junction, Kentucky. That's where the ministry is located, or where the P.O. Box is. Lebanon Junction, Lebanon Junction. 2 words, like junction, Junction, Kentucky, and it's 40150. Again, you can see it there. Bishop James Long, P.O. Box 754, Lebanon Junction, 2 words, Kentucky 40150. So if you have something like that, send it to me. Let me know what it is. Let me know, okay, this is what's going on in my home. This is why I'm sending it to you. Don't just send something to me. I'm not a psychic. So please, what I'm asking you to do is you got to tell me what's going on with it. What's happened. Give me something so that I can figure out what's going on in your home. And then the best way also, give me your number and I'll give you a call. And I'll walk you through, okay, look, this is how you do it. And this is how you can cleanse your home. And we can go from there. All right. So, I try to do the best I can to help as many people as I can. But anyway, just that's the best way to do it. Oh, by the way, I wanted to share a couple of things. If any of you have these things at your store, I will personally, if you buy every one of them, I will reimburse you and pay for the shipping. For some reason in Kentucky, I don't know why I can't get these things, and I love them. I absolutely love these things. These are they're soft bake cookies. They're Fiber One oatmeal raisin. By the way, it's not the chocolate chip. It's too much sugar in the chocolate chip. But oatmeal raisin Fiber One cookies. If you have them, usually a lot of times they're on Walmart. But for some reason, Walmart's in my area, they just don't carry them. They don't carry them. So I've tried it even on Amazon. I've looked at Amazon. I couldn't find them. So do me a favor. Okay. Do me a favor. You guys might laugh, but I can't find them. And I really love these. So do me a favor, if you will, and just send me a message on email. How's that? Or no, Facebook is easier because I have over 7,000 emails. Facebook 754 Shannon, P.O. Box 754. Send me something on Facebook, a message saying, "Hey, yeah, I have these things. There's plenty of them here, and I will send you money for them, and I'll pay for the shipping." But I can't find them here. I can't find them, and I only have one more box. So it's facebook.com/Bishop James Long. Please remember, folks, it's Bishop James Long is all one word. And it's the one that looks like a cartoon. I have 3 different accounts because one is for me, one is for the church, one is for... So please make sure you go to the right one. Okay. Facebook.com/Bishop James Long. Yeah, I saw them. I saw the things online. Well, now, they say they have them in Shepherdsville. Okay. Wow. Oh, no. That's the chocolate chunk. No, that's the chocolate chunk, Mr. Producer. I don't want the chocolate chunk ones. It's the oatmeal raisins. It's the oatmeal raisins. I can find the cookies, the chocolate cookies. That's not a problem. I cannot find the oatmeal raisin cookies. Oatmeal raisin. All right, Mr. Producer. He's sending me a check availability. Yep. See, it says a pickup not available at that store because they don't have them. See, that's the problem. They don't have them in the area. Yeah, Mr. Producer. I'm going to have to give you an F on that, sir. Mr. Producer behind the scenes is sending me a message. But no, they don't have them. It's not available. I'll have to check it out. But anyway, if you have them, well, thank you. And again, if you have some, guys, just contact me on Facebook, and please, I will buy them. I'll pay for the shipping. Okay. But I never ask. I really love these things a lot. And Mr. Producer is behind the scenes. Yeah, he's trying. There's Mr. Producer there on Facebook. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. I hope so. Believe me, if I get a bunch of, I'll contact you. I'll say, please, tell me how can I reimburse you, because I love them. Now, I want to share this with you because people are always asking. I know this has nothing to do with the paranormal. Just please indulge me for a moment. People ask me all the time, well, what do I eat? Okay, you see this? Quest. These are Quest. Now, these are Oreo cookies. Now, let me tell you something. I was like a little fat kid in the candy store when I saw this. I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be great because I love Oreo cookies. And I thought, oh, I cannot wait to tear into this one. Let me tell you something. This is false advertisement. You see this? That's what you think you're getting. You ain't getting that. Let me tell you what you're getting, because I got real excited. I mean, when I saw that, I thought, oh my gosh, they got a Quest protein Oreo cookies. I've got to buy them. I've got them. So I bought it. Well, I opened that sucker up and I thought, oh, you got to be. Hold on. Let me just. Hold on. Now, I ask you, it looks, it tastes as bad as it looks. This is it. That's what they advertise. It is, it is nasty. This is nasty. And so when I saw, and it doesn't taste anything like Oreo cookies. I'll tell you that. Believe me, I was a fat, chubby little kid. I know what Oreo cookies taste like. This doesn't even come close to that, does it? And this is what I'm talking about. It's terrible. It's gooey, nasty. Ugh. No. Ugh. They should be ashamed of themselves. I mean, it has the chocolatey in there, but no, it's that brown, yucky protein. It's just, no. Oh, no. Oh, ugh. I was an expert when I was a kid on Oreo cookies. And I can tell you right now, that needs an exorcism. I mean, it needs an exorcism. Okay, cookies. If you do find them, the best place to send them at my P.O. box. It's P.O. Box 754. Oh gosh, that was terrible. Please don't buy the Quest. I mean, that really tastes. Bad wig. No, it's not a wig. If I had a wig, I'd have more hair, sunshine. No, I guess I'm being told that I have a bad wig. If you have a wig, you're not going to have a big forehead. Your wig's going to come down to here. I mean, you could eat your breakfast on my forehead. Come on. Anyway, so yeah, you just like whatever. It's a P.O. Box 754, Lebanon Junction, 2 words, Lebanon Junction, Kentucky, 40150. Okay. So thank you for those of you who are going to search for it. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. And there's the same way that if you have an item that you want to, that you need to get rid of and it's haunted, please send me the item. I will bless it for you and make sure that you send me a message about what happened. And then I'll give you a call and then I'll talk to you about how I can help you. Okay. You have 200 viewers on TikTok. Oh, why do you? Well, I don't, Adrian, but you got to remember, I have two different platforms. And so Adrian says, you have 200 viewers on TikTok. Why don't you focus on that platform? Adrian, I've been going back and forth, man. I can't please everybody. It just, Adrian, I don't understand. I've been talking to you guys here, right? And I've been talking to you guys here, right? I've been going back and forth, right? Because I'm running this on 2 different computers. I'm running this Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter here and Spreaker. And then over here, I'm running it on TikTok. So I only have one face. So, okay. All righty. There's a critic in every room. Come on, Adrian. Come on. What's wrong with you? All right. Yeah, everybody's nice here. Anyway, yeah, it's like you gotta. Yeah, what are you gonna do? Okay. I would love Michael. Now, keep in mind, please keep in mind, please, and I'm not trying to be rude. Please, make sure that if you're going to send, please make sure it's the oatmeal raisin. The chunky. There's plenty of those. I can't eat those. It has too much sugar. So the regular fiber one, it has chocolate chip or chocolate chunky cookies. Please don't send that because I won't be able to eat it. So thank you though. So make sure it's oatmeal raisin. All right. 100. Wow. 100. Okay. So Adrian told me to pay attention to TikTok. Hello, TikTok. 184,000 likes on TikTok, Adrian. That's awesome. Okay. Well, it is, but I've tried Amazon, and but if you try to actually see it, you can't. I've tried to even purchase it even on Amazon. I can't. What is it? Oh, why our kids are able to sense spirits and we're not, and adults not? The theory is animals and children are able to see things that we cannot and sense things that we cannot because they don't have filter. Animals have no filter. Animals are true, and they've not been told ghosts aren't real or ghosts are all demons or there's no such thing as a ghost. They've never been taught this. So the theory is because they don't have that filter that they are able to see that, which certainly makes sense. I mean, when we grow up, the ghosts don't exist. And they're not, so we're told that, and we're pounded on that, and sometimes we believe it. And I disagree with that. I disagree. I think, meaning I disagree with, I certainly believe ghosts do exist. That's what I mean by that. 100%. 100%. And by the way, for those of you, let me just say this. I know that some of you are psychic mediums. I know this. And I also know that those of you who are psychic mediums have been told probably your whole entire life by the church, by pastors, that you're going to burn in the fiery pits of hell. And yet you're doing the work of the Satan. And you should be ashamed of yourself. And that you need to repent. And that you're doing evil work. They are wrong. You are not evil. You are not doing the devil's work. There are people, for whatever reason, that like to try to define you and the gifts that you have. And this is what I'm going to tell you. For all those people who keep telling you, oh, you're evil, it's bad what you're doing, then this is what you need to tell them. You know, I didn't choose this gift. This gift was given to me by God. And so therefore, if you have a problem with my gift, then you take it up with him. I understand people's argument about psychic mediums and Deuteronomy and talking about soothsayers and fortune tellers. Here's what I find quite amusing. People who have doctorate degrees. I have a doctorate in ministry, but there are people who I have a doctorate and 14 doctorates in this and biblical history and all this other stuff. But yet they just haven't thought maybe 2,000, 3,000 years of history that terms change. We don't use the same words as we used 3,000 years ago. And when it was talking about, and I've said this before, when it was, okay, thanks, Mr. Producer, when I was telling about psychics, what the abomination was this. They were fighting polytheism, the belief in many gods. And the requirement was that when your loved one passed away at this time, when Deuteronomy was written, you have to give a token of love to all these gods so that one of the gods wouldn't punish your loved one, raise them up, necromancy, and then punish them forever in Hades. So you would have to offer them a love token for every one of those gods. Well, what these intermediaries or psychics, as they would understand it, would do is they would tell you, oh, we don't have 20 gods today. Now we have 30. And it's not 5 shekels, it's 10 shekels. And it was a scam. Because then they would tell you that if you didn't give 30 shekels for now we have 50 gods, the god of the color or the god of snails, then that god is going to punish your loved one. It's going to raise your loved one up and then punish them in Hades. That was the abomination. Now, for those of you, I've never heard of this. Well, talk to the Roman Catholic Church, because I learned that in graduate school, in the graduate seminary in the Roman Catholic Church. This is what they did back then. That was the abomination. 1, lying to people. 2, claiming that he had a god of trees, and then you had to give, and then they would make up all these lies. They would create all these different gods, and then take advantage of people in their mourning, in their stage of mourning, and that was the abomination. So it has nothing to do with the psychic mediumship that we understand today. It's 2 different words, the terminology is even different, and it's just fascinating how some people just simply don't want to acknowledge that. For those of you on Spreaker, I'm going to say goodnight to you. And I want to remind you, and all of you, please, folks, please understand that your value does not decrease based on someone's inability or refusal to see your worth. Remember, you are priceless. And never let anybody convince you otherwise. TikTok, stay with me for just a second. For those of you on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, God bless, have a beautiful night, and we'll see you guys this Sunday for Bible study. The Sacred Division has been brought to you by Bishop Long's online paranormal course. Learn demonology, angelology, paranormal studies, and genealogy. It's 100% online, and you learn at your own pace. Please go to www.bishopjameslong.com and click on the Paranormal Course link.